Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Wildflower Mystic. My name is Ariela Halevi, and I'm so excited, first of all, to welcome a friend of mine, Kara Bunde-Dunn, and also to just be here and be in this podcast. And we're going to really dive deep today and talk about all things grounding and I feel like we're gonna land in our body and jump up into spirit and talk about how to receive divine guidance, being in a really embodied state. And so let's fly together today, Kara.
Let's do it.
Let me introduce you first. Kara is a spiritual medium. She's an intuitive teacher and founder of Karmic Leader. She helps spiritually curious souls connect to their spirit guides, trust their intuition, and raise their frequency so they can live with more alignment, ease, and purpose. And her work, which is we're going to talk about today, is really about grounding and teaching energy practices that are grounding with real life wisdom to make the unseen world feel accessible and empowering. She has workshops, she has a mentorship community, one-on-one readings, and she guides others to remember who they truly are and create a two-way connection with their team in spirit. So welcome today. I'm so happy to have you on.
Thank you. And you are such a beautiful soul. And I just cannot wait to see what comes out of this podcast together.
Yes, I'm super excited. And in our fashion, we're going to start with a sacred prayer and to kind of create our container. So I almost want to imagine that this isn't really a podcast. I want to do it differently. With you, I'd like to do it almost like we're in sacred space together.
Mhm.
And so let's connect in our own way. So, if you're listening to this, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and just for a moment take a deep breath and just connect to your body. Ground as if you are a tree with roots and breathe into the body that you were given in this lifetime. What a gift! What a gift. And we're going to invite spirit, source energy, Hashem, the guidance of all, whatever you call it, the universe, however you see this divine connection, we invite her in today. We ask that this sacred space, this container that Kara and I are creating, be guided by the divine. We ask and pray that all of our guides, our ancestors, our people that are here that care so deeply enter this space today so that our container is filled with the divine flame of light and that whatever comes through is not just a discussion, it is a powerful healing, an activation, a teaching, and a guidance from the divine, from divine wisdom. We call upon ancient wisdom. We always want to connect with this ancient wisdom that is here for modern times, being in the body that we're in. We ask for our vessels to be clear and open and contained and also grounded. Aho, amen.
Thank you for that. That was gorgeous. When you
Thank
were talking and you were calling in our ancestors, I felt this giant energy unicorn pull, like I had a
you.
unicorn coming out of my forehead. I was like, ooh, this is
Amazing.
going to be a good one. I feel it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great. Well, let's jump in. What I would love to, as I said, what we're going to talk about today is how to be a grounded, embodied person with this vessel called the body, but also in that body, in our real 3D earthly life, how do we connect to the divine as if we are walking in like it's heaven on earth?
Yeah,
As
totally.
if and then how do we connect daily to the divine wisdom that's accessible for all people? So what I'd love to know is a little bit about you. How I know, I know some things about you. I know that you can talk about your corporate world and how you switched gears. So I'd love to hear just what is important for us to know about your story.
Yeah, for me, I was definitely in my ego and climbing the corporate ladder and doing all of the things. I also always thought I just like knew a lot of stuff, like I don't know, like back in my younger years, like my college days, like we would go out to a bar or hang out or whatever, and I'd be like, I know what that guy's major is. I know what that guy drives. And I just thought it was like my fun little party trick that I like knew things about people. And I just like went on in my merry way of being in my ego until we have those moments where it doesn't feel aligned anymore. And you're like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I honestly truly believe like it was my soul's blueprint to live a very regular, normal life where I'm allowing the 3D world to interfere with my divine guidance, and so that I can help other people learn how to do that. So I think when people say, like, oh, I've always had this ability, I've always been able to talk to spirit, I've always been able to have these things happen. Sometimes for some people, they're like, well, I don't know how to relate to you. I don't know how to do that because that isn't my truth today. And I truly believe that my journey was meant to be a pretty normal, average, everyday person's like corporate climb until it felt out of alignment. And I went on a deep spiritual journey of trying to understand why. And through that process and the help of beautiful mentors, I was able to activate and open my own mediumship abilities about 5 years ago. And so I lived in the corporate world. I was a chief sales officer of a company for 3 years while I was also a practicing medium. And so
Amazing.
I lived in both worlds until I just couldn't anymore, until spirit's like, out of the nest you go. It's
Right.
time. It's time.
Right.
But I
Right.
think the thing that is so beautiful about my story and what I have learned to accept in my story is if I can do it, so can you. If
Hmm.
I can go through all of the journey I've gone through and all of the learning, and I can learn how to activate this wisdom and this connection with the divine, and I can learn how to really embody this heaven on earth energy, so can you. So can you. And I really believe that with every fabric of my body that everybody can learn how to create their own beautiful, meaningful connections. And you're just magnetically drawn to what's going to be the best energetic match for you.
I love that. And there's so many things in your story that I want to ask questions about and hear your thoughts on and kind of dive into. I think the number one thing I love of what you said was that you make mediumship or like this communication with the divine accessible because you love being a regular person. And I think it's really important as we navigate our lives and there's so many changes and so many ups and downs that a lot of people think, well, I'm not spiritual enough, or I haven't
Mhm.
done, I'm not in that world. I can't be that person. I can't talk to the divine. So I'm going to go, I'm going to go to you, or I'm going to do work and I'm going to do
Or
healing
you.
work. Yeah. And I think it's really, I think I love you because you're a regular person.
Yeah.
Right. And so let's talk about what it means to be a grounded person on this earth, but and struggle a little bit. And maybe, and I don't know, maybe that's part of the path too.
Yeah, I think because we chose to live in a human body, we're meant to have duality. We're not meant, I mean, if we were supposed to just only live in our highest chakras and only live in this like really love and light energy all the time, we
Yeah,
wouldn't need to be a human. So we're choosing this so that we can learn something about ourselves and grow and expand and become our most authentic self. So I truly think you're meant to have challenges or times where it's easier and times where it's harder, and you have to navigate through and learn and get curious because that's your soul knocking on the door saying, there's something for you to learn. There is
absolutely.
place for expansion for you right now. And if it was just easy, straight all the time, we're probably going to be more on a plateau and more on a level, a smooth level playing field.
Right.
And that isn't where the growth happens. So, buckle up, I say.
Right. That's so true. There's a beautiful story in mysticism that talks about the energy of angels
Mm,
and how the angels are these like high vibrational beings, but they don't have choices like humans.
right.
Right? They don't get to struggle, and how that sometimes angels are jealous of humans because they're just naturally high vibrate. They just flow,
Yeah.
right? And we want that so badly, but they're jealous of our existence and our experience. There's a movie a long time ago with Nicolas Cage, and I cannot remember. I never City of
Yeah,
Angels.
City of Angels. Yes.
Yes, such a good movie. Um, and it talks about like this idea that he just wants to feel, right? He just and
Yeah, to
it's
feel all the
actually it's
feelings.
yeah, it's actually a deep mystic teaching on it. And I think all of us get frustrated because we want that level of existence. We want to feel like we're always in divine flow. And I don't think we're out of divine flow if we feel like we have triggers coming up, or we feel like we have beliefs coming up, and life gets difficult or challenging. I think even right now, I think we're going through a collective detox.
Yes, I
And so
totally agree.
yeah, it's the year of the snake. It's like we're all shedding some sort of skin. So it's interesting to me to settle into this existence. Like, what if we just
Yeah.
settled and accepted some of these choices that we have to make?
Yeah, when we talk about like grounding or grounding in, for me, when my abilities really started awakening, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is a magical thing that's ever happened to me. And it came in automatic writing and downloads and old school cursive and angels and my grandpa and all of these things. And it was such a beautiful, sacred thing. And I was like, I just want to feel like I I don't know if you have an explicit next to this or if I'm how much I'm allowed to riff. We'll
You
see.
can riff.
Okay, but I remember feeling like it felt like little tingles, like like a post, you know what, glow, like after you had a little lemon, and then you're
Right.
like, oh, my whole body feels tingly. It felt like so tingly and magical, and I was like, I want to feel like this all day, every day. This is so
Right.
amazing. And then I just wanted to live in my upper chakras. I
Yeah.
just wanted to stay up in this like happy zone. I wanted to be
Mhm.
floaty. I wanted to be light, and my guides after a while were like, Kara, you chose to be a human, so go be a
Right.
human. And I
Right.
really had to learn how to ground into my human experience while holding this divine cord of connection, this like beautiful energy exchange between me and my guides and angels, and yet
Mhm.
live a human existence and have that contrast and duality. And it took me a bit because at first I just wanted to live in magic fairyland all the time,
Right. Right.
you know?
I find that that's a lot of the kind of bypassing that we have been taught. And I think that there's a beautiful there's a beautiful way of living where we can have both,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yes.
wouldn't it? I think it's really amazing when we can learn to honor our human emotions and our humanness, all the human, yucky humanness that we have, and then at the same time invite spirit into
That's right.
that world, right? Into like we have to pay the bills, and we have to take our dog to the vet, and we go to cook dinner for our kids, and like all that humanness is it can be so sacred, right? That's the idea of like bringing the tingles, right? Like
Yeah.
that amazing feeling. It is a very deep sacred practice to then bring that energy of what I call fire,
Yeah, that
right?
fire
Of
energy.
that really beautiful divine energy, and bring it right into making soup, right?
Y
And so maybe talk about for a second how you do that. Like, how do you take those like really intense, beautiful moments and then bring it into, wow, okay, I'm going to go pick up you have a daughter, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm going to go pick up my daughter from school and like do the grind.
Yes. I do lots of little things that really help me stay in my day to day connection. I do a very simple energy clearing practice every day where I say my name 3 times. I call back my energy. I release energy that is not mine. And then I've added a little bit of a newness to that. This is going to go a little bit woo, but I believe we can live multiple existences at the same time and we can embody different energies at different times. And so I actually channel up to my higher self and I ask her to clear all energy for anything that isn't connected to the name Kara. So if my energy is anywhere else or embodied in any other kind of persona anywhere else, either in in the astral world or in the star seeds or in another, a body or whatever that might be. That has been a practice that has helped me too. And that is I didn't start that way, but it's a pretty woo way to think about, like, oh my gosh, is that possible where you could have your foot in different worlds at the same time? And maybe I'm only clearing and cleansing this one that I know about, and I'm not really cleansing all that needs to be cleansed.
Yeah.
So that was a tweak that I did recently that has helped my energy a lot. So I do that every day. And then I literally just ask my guides, like, show me like the most beautiful little miracles today. Anything. I don't care what it is. I used to say, like, I want to see a hummingbird today, or and I would call out specific signs. And then I realized, you know what? It's way cooler if you just let spirit do their thing. If you
Yeah.
just let them just come to you
Absolutely.
and meet you where you're at. And the way that I know, I'm a big feeler. Like, I am definitely a clear feeler, and I'll feel
Yeah.
little tingles, little sensations, little like, oh my gosh, you just showed, I just saw a road that was like 2222, and I just saw a
Mhm.
license plate that said this, and I just saw that. And an owl swooped out in front of my face in my walk in the woods, and like just really cool, magical things that happen when you just say, like, show me the magic. I am so open to receiving miracles and magic in any way that you want to show me today. And it feels less restrictive and less controlling. Like, you can like loosen the grip
Right.
and just let this cool flow happen between you and your guides. And those are like very
Yeah.
simple things. And when I am out of alignment and my body feels the ick, and I just feel like I feel tired, I want to crawl into bed, I want to watch a movie, I don't want to do
Right.
anything, like I'm so
Right.
tired. Like, I know that I have not been in nature. I know that I have not gotten Mother Earth's energy. I have not gotten her medicine. And she just is such a beautiful vessel of cleaning energy and giving to us and sharing her gifts with us. And I just get outside. I go talk to my tree. I go for a walk. I get in the grass. I do anything that I can do to get out of that kind of like low vibrational 3D world, social
Right.
media and, television and news
Yeah.
and, all the things that
Absolutely.
can really take us down. So I just know that when I'm feeling that way, I'm like, I got to move this energy out. I got to dance it out, shake it out, tap it out. I've got to
Hmm.
get outside in nature. I've got to do something to get it out of my field. So those are like
Absolutely.
simple things, but I'm super curious for you. Like, what helps you ground in to your human body on a day-to-day basis? I would love to hear your story too.
Um, well, so I'm going to answer that. And then I'm going to go back to something you said because I think
Okay.
we need to touch on it. Um, so similar to you, the reason why I knew I had to have you on my podcast is that I'm really attracted to real people. And I really love that you have like this bubbly butterfly gift for life. I think a lot of us close our hearts to the childlike sense of connection. And that's why I knew that you had to come on here and we had to connect because I think we need more of that. I think we all have hard stuff that's happened to us. We've all
Hmm.
gone through stuff, but your childlike sense of connection is exactly how I ground, exactly how I connect. If you saw me this morning, my husband said, "You're crazy."
Oh, you're like, well, thank you. It's
I
like the
was,
best compliment ever.
yes, I was like, "Thank you." I mean, I think it's about accepting that there are a lot of people here that feel that we're different, and I think it's actually that we're deeply connected to, maybe you can call it your inner child or that younger alive part of you. And I spent the morning dancing and I
Oh, I
turned
love
on
that.
my favorite 70s music and I was dancing in my pajamas like for a good half hour. And
It's
then,
I
yeah,
did
I
that a
mean,
couple days ago. We have an outside speaker, and
uh
I blasted like Higher Love by Whitney Houston and a couple of my favorite, like the
yeah,
remix of there. And
yeah,
I was out in my yard dancing. Like, it was like 6:30 in the morning, and I was like blasting my speaker. I was like, well, whatever. Well, wake up,
sorry.
neighbors.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so much fun to be a kid like that and open
Yeah.
your heart and I think we shouldn't lose that no matter what age. And I think that's that's part of my grounding. And another part of my grounding is to it depends on the day I ground. I think the way to connect is to feel into how you're feeling every day
Mm,
because we come to our day different.
yes, we
We
do.
every day we feel something different. So if you're
Mm,
hooked and you're triggered on something deep, then spend time processing it
Mhm.
And whether you write about it or speak out loud or cry about it, or today I was dancing and then I was on the floor and I was kind of like, really just kind of using the ground as a way to process some feelings out. And then I was 100% fine.
Yeah.
So I think we do a lot of running away from the stuff that hurts and go straight for the stuff that feels good. But
Mhm.
you can feel good by moving through it. And that's
Yes.
the other thing that I do, and I know there's a lot of talk about it, is I go outside right when the sun is rising.
Mm.
And I bring my dog and I bring my tea, and there I'm sure my neighbors see me because I'm outside in the front yard, and I do some singing, and I do just kind of looking into the sun. And I've actually managed to decrease my thyroid medication from
Look at
early morning
you.
sunrise, I believe. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So early morning sunrise just it makes me happier. It makes me a happier person to be in that space. So I think you and I are saying the same things. It's nature. I go out at all during all weather, all types of weather. And I know you live in a snowy
Yeah. I
area
just
too.
one state over in Nebraska close to you, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's really important because we can get caught up in the sticky part of life. You call it the ick,
Yeah.
right?
The
And
ick.
like
Yeah.
to go outside, it's like, there's beauty outside and it really helps.
I do
But
feel like that. Like my more 3D body will be like, it's raining. Oh,
I
maybe I'll just
know.
stretch a little bit. I don't want to go
Yeah.
in the downpour rain. It's cold.
Right.
It's whatever, and then I know again, whenever I
Hmm.
resist it more, that's when I need it the most.
Absolutely.
And so it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, you're gonna, and
Right.
I won't say always in the winter, but I do try to do actual, barefoot to the ground, like
Yes.
skin to earth,
Right.
and even in the snow, if I can, if there's a little patch of grass or even the snow, I try to step and stand there, even for just
Hmm.
a few seconds, just to be like,
Same.
okay, yeah,
Right.
and I don't find it's not like a crazy woo thing. If you think about it, you're like, everything is energy, and
Hmm.
you're having these human barriers, cement and
Hmm.
electronics and all these things that you go back into the earth, your body
Right.
returns back into the earth, and so it's like, allow yourself to connect back into that, truly allow yourself to be in that energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's important. And you said play too. Um, you know, I have a pretty lighthearted personality. Now that
Hmm.
doesn't mean I will go to the depths of deep soul level conversations. I mean, I can go as serious and deep and as you want to go, but I do think that it's come up in several readings this week where people's guides are guiding them to play more. It just came up in my session right before we hopped on this. I'm like, your guides are telling you fun, play. You've been in such a serious big work project. They're telling you to play and have fun, and you're not. And when we play and we allow ourselves to activate a more creative part of ourselves. So
Right.
that's why I think it's great. Like, I'll go out when I'm on a walk on the woods, and I'll just like, find a tree that has fallen, and I'll walk on it like it's a balance beam, and like just anything I can do to lighten the load, because on a
Absolutely.
spiritual journey, it can sometimes feel heavy and hard, and it can feel like, what is going on? I know I'm going through this big embodiment, but it feels heavy. I don't know what to
Hmm.
do with all the energy. And honestly, like, having a little joy and play can help shift your vibrational state a bit to help you open
Absolutely.
up and process whatever you're going through too.
Yeah, I think we've gotten quite stuck in the fixing, right? We're going to fix our nervous system and we're going to fix our bodies and we're going to fix our
Mm,
connection to the divine and we're going to fix our ancestors and that connection and that lineage trauma. And so we do so much fixing. And I think it's really about exactly what you said. I think it's but I don't want to forget I want to still come back to what you said because I feel like it's so important. But I really think that we're heading into this like very deep stage of remembering and
mm,
returning
hmm.
to either the child that you were or the ancestors that are here that are helping you kind of release some of the heaviness of our own lineages and return and remember and rejoice. It's like all these R's
Hmm.
and and have more fun because
Yeah.
that is part of why the angels are that teaching. The angels are jealous. They want what we have, and so we have to remember to fully live it. And
Hmm.
that to me is like what we started with, is like, what is divine communication? To me, that is part of divine communication. Because if we're
Yeah.
stuck and we're stuck in fix it mode, then we forget how important it is to play and to relax and
Yeah.
to have fun.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if you feel this way. I'll have a little bit of a vulnerable moment share here, but um, having now being in the space of mentoring and coaching and helping other people activate their intuition, create meaningful connections, there are times where I am a little more protective of the deeper things I'm going through because I'm mentoring and helping people. But I know that spirit is calling us to like share it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, all, and that's you're role modeling what it's like, and it's not, we don't have perfect lives. I cry, I have to get emotions out, I'm processing things just like you are. I just happen to have a really really cool toolbox, and you can access a really cool toolbox too. But I tend to not always want to share, and I will share after I've gone through something like, "Woo, gosh, the last 2 weeks I went through this or that." But I'm not always as good at like sharing in the muck of what I'm
Hmm.
working my way through. But I do think it's accurate. You have to live your emotions. You have to honor them and get curious with why you're feeling what you're feeling. I think there are so many spiritual teachers out there who literally just teach you like love and light, It's like
Right.
that, it's just like you said, just reprogram your brain, reprogram your subconscious, do all of these things. And there's a place for that. Like, I think it's so true. But it's like, you know what? Be present. Be present to you, to the real you that lives
Right.
within you. And when you can
Absolutely.
present and center into that, you can navigate your way through anything.
So let's go back from that point. Let's go back into something a little deeper because you touched on it and I want to really dive in.
Okay, let's do it.
So you touched on something that I call timeline healing.
Mm,
Some people call it soul retrieval. You touched on a version of yourself, like what you said is in the mornings, I tap into or I connect to a version of myself that may not be from this plane of existence.
right.
It may be from a different time. It may be future. I'm going to add it may be past. Maybe it may be a past life. So I have a lot of people that say like I can't connect to God, spirit, divine because I'm carrying so much heaviness.
Mm,
And so timeline healing, exactly what you said, is this idea that we can go back and ask those parts of ourselves that we may not have a lot of knowledge about, but some of them we do. They could be our younger parts. We can go backwards and forwards and really tap into taking them with us and bringing them into higher versions of themselves. So it's us, but it's at different times in our lives or different planes of existence. For example, what I do when I walk the dog is I imagine myself, God willing, at age 90.
mm,
And I see myself with I'm going to still have long curly hair.
love it.
I'm going to do that.
I actually believe that for you.
Maybe it's going to be all white. I'll just go into like all
Or a
gray.
mix, a little salt and pepper.
But I often will walk the dog and I'll say out loud, I connect to that version of what I call the medicine woman, the wise, sovereign medicine woman. And I connect to her and I bring in that energy of who she is at age 90 or 85, that wise wisdom woman, where I see people coming to her and asking her deep questions about what it's like to be this age and all of her wisdom from all of her years. And I imagine stepping into who she is right in this very moment and bringing her energy down through me
Hmm.
because I am that person,
Exactly.
right? We are
Exactly.
those people when we're 85 or 90. And we're also those people of, past lives are a whole other story or different timelines. But even those younger parts of us, like maybe your 9-year-old self needs to come into who you are today
Hmm.
so she can glean the wisdom that you have today versus who you were at 9 years old. And to me, that timeline soul retrieval, that healing is healing on all levels and
Yeah.
all layers of who we have ever been and ever will be. So I feel like you touched on that. And I feel like it's a part of divine communication. It's very connecting to the divine is very easy and also very nuanced,
Isn't that the
right?
truth?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
wonder if you could touch on that, if that all makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely makes perfect sense. And, I've been able, I feel very blessed that I've been able to go through meditations and Akashic record sessions and all sorts of things where I can really access some wisdom that my guides or my higher self wants to know. I meet my higher self a lot. And she actually, I mean, she's not quite as old as what you described, but I do see her. She's like this older woman, long hair. She wears this kind of loose white outfit, and I feel this deep connection to her, and she gives me wisdom about what's happening now, what's happened in the past, what will happen in the future, like what I need to embody now. And I truly believe that, like, when you're it's I like to think of it like this, like, as we have free will in this human body and we have all of these choices that we can make, it's like a giant decision logic tree. And if you choose this, then your path is this way, then this way, then this way, then this way, but I think that's happening in multiple planes at the same time. And so it's our soul is wanting to expand, and it's choosing this human body to do it, but it can do it in lots of ways. And so but I also think my guides will tell me, like, okay, like, I love learning about my past lives. I like learning all of it. I'm like a little sponge. It's like the learner in me. Tell me everything. I want to know it all.
Right.
And there are so many times my guides say, yes, we will show you or teach you or share with you some of these deeper wisdom things, but also you can just embody the beautifulness of who you are today, and that will have ripple effects forward and backward and in your current state.
Yeah.
And it's like, I believe that that's how energy works. We shift energy. It can shift forward, it can shift backwards, we can embody it. And so if people are like, okay, I'm into that, I want to,
Mhm.
like, let's pull up a chair and sit by a fire and talk about all these
Right.
things till midnight,
Right.
I'd be like, yes, let's do it. But if anything, the least you can say is like, okay, I may not understand all of it, but I do believe that there is a golden cord, a connection to myself and the divine. And I like to think of it as millions of gold threads that thread us all together. That it's like spider webs coming out of our hands, like super, like a Spider-Man, and you're like, zin, zin, and it's like
Mhm.
we have all of these beautiful light gold cords that connect all of us, and we're meant to be learning and growing. And, you might have weird deja vu moments where you're like, I feel like I know this. I've never been to Ireland
Yeah.
before, but I 100% know this. I've been here around the street. There's a red door. And then sure enough, there's a red door, and it like freaks you out. And you're like, oh my God. Yes,
Right.
because you're remembering. You're
Right.
remembering a part of
Right.
you that isn't in your consciousness now.
Right.
And I believe in the possibility of all of that.
I love that. And I love the idea of if I can be the best possible person and the most connected and vibrant person that I am right here, right now, aren't I then healing all timelines forward and backwards,
All of the
right?
places my soul may be.
All the places my soul has ever been and
Hmm.
ever will be.
Hmm.
And I think that is part of, like, if we come back to this divine communication,
Hmm.
we often people think, oh, divine communication means I sit down and I listen to the word of spirit. Like, first of all, not everybody is clairaudient. Not
Exactly.
everybody can hear that. And not everybody can visually see those
Exactly.
things. And so I like to think of divine communication as exactly, and maybe we can go forward with divine communication now. Like, divine communication is exactly what you just described. If I am the most vibrant person that I can be right now, isn't that divine communication? I think we're making it really hard.
Yes.
Isn't that connecting to our highest vibrational form? Isn't
Yes.
that a beautiful way of connecting to the divine? Because when we are in our highest form and connecting and healing on all timelines, backwards and forwards, then that makes it fully capable for the divine to move through us.
Yes, exactly. I will say though, like, I think, like, the old way of learning was like through the hard, through the muck, through the challenges, through the obstacles. And I
Yes.
do think there's a more easeful way in which to
Yeah.
do that. And one of the simple things that I do that helps me do that is I trust, I absolutely surrender and trust. And I say, Spirit, I am open to the highest timeline available to me today. I am
Mhm.
open to whatever timeline is the highest vibrational timeline that I can embody today. Show me
Yeah.
that. And I
Mm.
don't mean like show me like the next 50 years. I mean, show me what I need to do in the next 10 minutes. Like, give
Right.
me like
Right.
practical, what is my next step? And then it's like, go outside. You're like, oh, great. And then you're like, call your neighbor. And you're like, great. Like, and you get all of these little like nudges and wisdom to like, and you don't know, you never know. Is that the thing that shifts your timeline to a higher
Mhm.
vibrational state? We think that it has to be like, show me everything, or I
Right.
won't believe. And it's
Right.
not like that. I like to think of it, it's like a fog, and you can only see so many steps in front of you. And honestly, if you saw the whole path, you may not take it. You might not be willing to
Yeah.
go on the path and all the things that you're going to learn and the challenges and the obstacles you'll overcome. So, spirit shows you what you're ready for. And
Mm.
I always just say, show me my right next step. Show me
I love
whatever my
that.
right next step is on the highest timeline available to me.
Mhm.
And then I
Yeah.
follow the guidance.
Would you say that along those lines that are so you and I were talking before this podcast and we were saying like we have to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wonder if meeting in the middle is having the trust and the faith. Like if we're going to go this far and spirit's going to come and meet us, then what is this far? What does it look like? To me,
Yes.
it feels like part of that path when we walk that mid ground is trust and faith
Mhm.
that when we don't feel those like, oh, I am deeply connected, right?
Yeah.
Those
The whole body
the
tingles.
whole body, right? When we don't feel that, can we still move to the middle ground of like, okay, okay, divine, I'm not feeling you today. And that might mean that like the light is a little bit more dim so I can learn my earthly lessons
Mhm.
for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So I'm going to still meet you there.
Yeah. Like what I like to think about it is like a lot of people are like receive. Like my guides gave me a framework to help people simply understand how to talk to their guides. And it's like, you have to release what doesn't serve you. You have to get it out of your energetic field. You can't hold on to that frequency. And
Hmm.
then you have to do things that raise your vibrational frequency, just like you and I talked about. And then you can use really cool tools to receive. And what I find when people come to work with me, they're like, what's my sign? What am I supposed to be looking for? Is it a butterfly? Is it a
Right.
sunflower? What is it? Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me.
Right.
And they want to go straight to like, hey, team and spirit, show me that you're real and show me what I'm meant to do. What am I supposed to do? What's my life
Hmm.
purpose? Is it this or is it this or is it this or is it this? And what I like to say is like, the most powerful thing you can do to meet them halfway is to release the fear. Are
Yeah.
you making choice and decision out of fear or out of love? And
Right.
you will know because they feel very different in your body. Like, I'm not going to take that job because I'm super scared that if I do, then this is going to happen and this is going to happen. Or
Mhm.
what if this happens and what if this happens? And I always say, like, what if? What if the coolest things ever happen? That
Right.
doesn't have to be a
Right.
negative thing. And if you live your life in fear, you are not meeting your team halfway. You have to
Totally.
say, okay, I feel really shitty right now. I want to cry. I want to crawl in a ball. I don't know why, but I'm feeling heavy.
Hmm.
And sometimes just moving to a place of neutrality or acceptance for what is in that moment is meeting them halfway. It's like,
Absolutely.
okay, you know what? I don't want to shut off the connection, but I feel heavy today. I don't know what that's all about, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
I
love
think
that.
that's part of that. It's like when I say meet people halfway, I really think it's like you have to do your part to raise your vibration. And that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm just going to zip off into straight la la land all the time. Sometimes that
Right.
means I'm going to forgive myself for something I've been carrying a little too long.
Right.
Or I noticed I judged somebody pretty bad yesterday. And what is that? Where did that come from?
Absolutely.
Why was I doing that? I mean, that's the work. That's the meeting
Right.
them halfway, is honoring what's going on inside of you and being curious about it. That's what I mean when I say meet them halfway. And when you do that, things will start
Mhm.
opening and happening for you.
Yeah, I think it's like we all want that doorway to open, right? That portal, that gateway that's going to allow for more flow, more ease, more grace, especially it feels like since COVID, we've been living kind of in a very tight, kind of tense place in some ways. In other ways, it's
Hmm.
been so beautiful. And I think you hit it. It's like, I think a daily practice of connection, even when, I show up to my daily practice, even when I do feel shitty,
Good
right?
for you.
And even when it does feel like I just want to tune it all out, that's the responsibility as the human to show up in whatever form or way that is. It's not always pretty, right? But I think I agree with you. It's like that, feel the fear and do it anyway,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes
Yeah.
you have to really feel the fear and go into the depths of it to move through it. It could be a
Yes.
sticky one.
Yeah, because you might
Um,
be like, why? Why are you fearful? Well, because I'm
right,
scared I might lose my job. Okay. Why are you scared you can lose your job? Because I don't want to lose my house. Okay.
right,
Why are you scared you might lose your house? Well, because I was homeless when I was little. You're like,
right,
okay, there you go. Now you got it.
right,
Now you
right.
know the part of you to heal and love. You
Yeah,
found
I
it.
mean, those are
It's like go
the
deeper. You'll
spider
find it.
webs.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the spider tricky beliefs and imprints and patterns that we have either been born with in our lineage, or we walk around with because of our experience. But I
Mm-hmm.
do think it's fully possible to meet spirit halfway and receive sometimes I think of divine communication as us doing the talking. And maybe it's not always receiving the answer, but it's us. I mean, prayer is the most beautiful
That's right.
divine communication there is. It's a
That's
free
right.
tool, right? I always say it's like
100%.
absolutely free. You don't have to pay anybody. You just sit and you ask and you talk. I mean, I think of divine communication as talking to spirit as if she were your friend.
That's right. That's 100%. We want to make it so complicated. And
Right.
I will say, I shifted out of this pretty quickly in my spiritual journey. But I remember even when my mediumship abilities awakened, I'd be like, okay, but I want this one and I want this one. And I want to be
Right.
able to I want to be able to get names like this. Can you give me names? And it wasn't long before I realized I am a beautiful, sovereign, sacred being. I am uniquely made. I am, oh, my whole chest is tingling right now. Whew.
Mm,
I am just so beautiful in my own right. And why would I want to have my connection be like somebody else's? Don't I want my
exactly.
own amazing, cool connection?
Oh,
And for
I love
me,
that.
because I shifted out of that, my guides gave me like a whole communication. Like I have my own way of them telling me, like I didn't take a class. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking a class by all
Right.
means. I'm like, why didn't I take a
Right.
class? That would have been way easier, but it's like I have my own communication with them. I know what it means. They communicate in red, yellow, and green lights. They show me to the left and to the right, and this means this, and this means that. And we
Right.
built our own beautiful sacred language because I was willing to say, okay, spirit, you're right. I know that I am so unique and special, and this connection is our own sacred bond. And I'm going to trust that I'm going to get the wisdom and the knowledge and the learning the way that my soul needs to hear it. And my
Mm,
abilities will awaken for what is my highest good and the
I
highest good
love
of
that.
others. And so I think people tend to compare and say, I can't do it like you. Why can't I do this? Or why can't I
Right.
do that? Or you're a celebrity. You're like a whole, not me, but like
Right,
they'll be
right.
like, you're just like, we idolize a lot and we put people on pedestals a lot. And what I always say is, I have no idea, Ariela, what your lessons are, just as you don't know mine. And I
Right.
have to trust that I'm in this body for a reason, that I am walking the earth in this way for a reason, and that I need to focus. My mom always says, like, I'm from Minnesota and we fish, and she's always saying,
Yeah.
like, focus on your own bobber. It's like, don't be watching mine. You're going to miss the fish that's biting on yours, you idiot.
Right.
It's like, just focus on your own connection
Yeah.
and your own, and don't compare yourself to other people or try to do it someone else's way. And
Absolutely.
you'll find the way you're meant to meet spirit.
That's beautiful. I feel like that's a perfect way to kind of like conclude and really have our listeners settle into this is your own path.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is your own divine path, and we're all unique souls. And you're right. I don't know your specific blueprint, and you don't know mine. So trusting and having faith that your own path is your way in to
Mm-hmm.
communicate and
Yes.
to be close to the divine and to feel like you are walking around like this is the most magnificent place to be,
Yes.
even when things do feel tricky or they do feel hard, coming back into this is my own space and I can heal on all different timelines and connect to all different timelines. I feel like that's a whole other podcast that we can probably do together. But yeah, I just want to thank you for reminding our audience that every day is a connection
Hmm.
and it's very simple. And when you get stuck, you come back, you meet spirit halfway in whatever form that looks like. And that we are all very, very gifted and unique on this planet and here and lucky to be in this body.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. And if I can
yeah.
just say this one thing,
Yeah,
I really believe this. Every single person, it is your birthright to have your own divine, sacred connection with spirit.
I
It
love
is
that.
within
Uh-huh.
you, and it is your birthright to develop it and create it and make the magic within and that connection within your team in spirit. So,
Yeah.
believe if you believe it's possible for Ariela or you believe it's possible for me, then you need to connect the thread and believe it's possible for you too.
Thank you. Beautiful. And so, Kara, how can people connect to you if they want to?
I'm on the gram, Instagram. That's probably where I connect the most. I'm on Facebook too, so you can message me there. I have tons of free content there. I have a link that has some free resources and things like that. So I would say follow me there, grab some resources. Karmicleader.com is my website. Come on, check some stuff out. I've got a free activation guide and some free workshops and things like that. So I would say come do that and come hang out with me and hang out with us together. Maybe we'll do something really fun together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kara. It was wonderful talking to you and just creating this sacred container together.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
yeah, I want to thank everybody who's listening and to encourage community. So, feel free to chat and comment on what you've learned today, any questions you have. You can always dive deeper into the mystic that you are and come home to yourself. And so every day is an opportunity to come back home, to return to your body, your spirit, your emotions, and the divine every day. Thank you.